This is Raven Dana, and welcome to Walking Between the Worlds. It is January 15th, so Happy New Year. I know you haven't seen me in a while. I've been working hard to come up with some ways of looking into the future, of working with what's happening in the world and around us in our country that's useful and uplifting. So today I'm going to start a series, and this first little chat is going to be about snake medicine, that this is the year of the snake. What can we take away from this information? What does it mean? What is the history of snake medicine, and how can we apply this wisdom to moving forward in our lives, especially now in difficult times? So let's start at the beginning. This is also going to be an invitation for you, if you don't like snakes, have an issue with snakes. This is also an invitation to embrace, to look at differently that which you don't like, that which you're afraid of, that which makes you feel a little uncomfortable, to be able to find in those things what's useful for you, what's informative for you. What do these things, what do these fears bring to your life that you may not notice or act on otherwise? So let's have that as our starting place today. All right. The year of the snake actually begins January 29th. So in the Chinese zodiac, the year of the snake represents change, rebirth, and new opportunities. It is also associated with wisdom, with creativity, and adaptability. In some cultures, snakes are thought to serve as the protectors of sacred wisdom and also of sacred spaces. Snake spirit may offer protection. It may offer guidance, and it may help you to navigate difficult times. Spiritually speaking, encountering a snake often signifies that change is coming, that it's time to shed. It's time to let go of habits, patterns, thoughts, beliefs, ways of being that are not useful, to renew, to begin again, to have a rebirth. And I think that in many ways, that's exactly what we've come to. We're at a place where we need to revise how we think and how we behave to better take care of each other on the planet in these difficult times. So I'm going to encourage you to think about this as we go. What old habits can you shed? What old thoughts can you let go of? In what ways might you be unconsciously in alignment with that which you say you don't want in your life? It's a very strange and interesting question, but I'm going to put that out there to you, because often we find that the very things we push back so hard against are things that we also harbor in our own ways of thinking and feeling. And if we want to change what's happening around us for the better, if we want to dream ourselves a future that's filled with hope and promise, then we need to look at those places where we are holding on to the darkness that we say is poisoning our lives. Okay? Snake medicine is the energy of wholeness at its essence. It's in the largest picture, in the biggest conversation about snake energy, it's about cosmic consciousness, the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, the symbol of constant regeneration, of life and death, of the old passing and the new coming, of cycles. It's also the ability to experience willingly and without resistance. That doesn't mean that we don't resist what we don't like. It means that we don't resist that it's happening. We don't pretend it's not happening. We don't hide from the things that we don't like in life. We look at them, we address them, and we take clear, direct action. So again, this is an invitation in the year of the snake to take more direct, clear action in our lives, rather than pretend that what's happening is going to mysteriously just go away. Snake medicine is also something in science that we don't often talk about or think about, but there are snake venom derived drugs that are really important. There are snake venom derived drugs that work for blood pressure, to regulate the heart, and to help the heart recover after a heart attack. In fact, there is a very particular example. It's called Capitin. It treats heart failure and the reversal of damage after heart failure. So snake medicine, at its essence spiritually, is considered to be that energy in which we come to use things for our benefit that would otherwise poison us. I really like that meaning. I really resonate with that. So snake medicine is about using for our benefit that which would otherwise poison us. Now, you may have noticed that the Medical Association uses the symbols of snake medicine, right? The rod of Asclepius and the caduceus, which are two different but similar representations of snake as healing energy. The Greeks regarded snakes as sacred. They used them in healing rituals to honor Asclepius, and often those who were disturbed and troubled would sleep in large rooms in which snakes, non-venomous snakes, would meander around freely. So it's very interesting, as the snake shedding its skin is representative of so many things about rebirth and renewal, and the shedding of sickness, the shedding of that which we no longer wish, the shedding of that which no longer works. Another aspect of snake medicine or snake energy is the conversation about Kundalini, or the snake, the life force that lies coiled at the base of the spine. And as it rises, as it awakens, it brings eventually to the mind a different, broader perspective of consciousness, a less, how can I say this, a less selfish, a less self-directed consciousness, and a more inclusive, communal-based consciousness. So it is said that as the Kundalini rises and we transform, we regenerate, we shift into a higher, more aware and deeply present version of ourselves. So I like that as well, to think about this year of the snake as an opportunity to have a shift in consciousness that moves us in the direction of community and caretaking each other and the planet. Okay, it's a time to slither out of old habits and beliefs, right? We can take inspiration from the snake in that when it does outgrow its skin, it just rubs its face, it rubs its head on a rock and loosens it up and slithers away and doesn't look back, doesn't think about it. We don't let go of habits that easily. And it might be something for us to take a moment to think about, that when something is not working, it might be a practice to let it go with some grace, to let it go with a little bit of, I don't know, lightness, right? Lightness, even if it's something that has haunted us for a long time. When we're ready to put it down, we don't have to worry over it. We don't have to, well, what am I going to do if I don't do that? We can move on, like a snake shedding her skin, and see what happens next. Let the renewal bring us into a new place. Because sometimes we think about things and overthink, and it's a dead-end street. We don't get where we want to go. Whereas if we feel our way through it, if we let the old go and let the new come in, wash over us, it's a more unified place to live in the world. In other words, instead of just relying on our linear left brain thinking, to be in that place of presence and wholeness, we allow our inner guidance, our intuition, the memos that come from the world at large, the guides and guardians that are connected to us, all of that information can participate in the regeneration or the change that we are looking to make. Okay. All things considered, the snake is a very powerful symbol, right? The ancients looked on the snake as a symbol of health and healing. The snake also produced venoms, which were used to kill parasites in the body, right? So it's something I learned, something I didn't know when I started to look about snakes. Many patients suffering from sickness and depression were put in healing rooms in which they were treated with the presence of snakes. They held snakes, they touched snakes. And it's just one of the many, many things that are associated with snakes is the relief from depression, which again, another interesting fact. The winged version of the rod of Asclepius is called a caduceus. Now, it's a staff with the two entwined snakes, right? It was carried by the Olympian god Hermes, also known as Mercury. He's a messenger between the gods. And also the guide of the underworld. So in one version of the story, Hermes is given the staff by Apollo, who, among other things, is a healing deity. And in another version of the story, he receives the staff from Zeus. But in any case, one of his attributes is that carrying of the caduceus is the messenger. He is a messenger between the gods and humanity, between wholeness and the potential for illness, between a large consciousness and limited consciousness. The oldest imagery of the caduceus goes back to Mesopotamia, Sumeria, and it's the staff with two snakes entwined dates back to 4000 BC. 4000 BC. By extension, its association with Mercury and Hermes, the caduceus is also a symbol of commerce and negotiation. The two realms in which exchange is balanced by reciprocity is recognized by the entwined snakes. Now, the rod of Asclepius is different, right? It's the symbol of medicine in the logo of the World Health Organization and also the American Medical Association. The rod of Asclepius is the dominant symbol for professional health care in the United States. And I'll show you the image, right? There's the image right there. So we find the caduceus, though, as the official insignia of the United States Medical Corps, the Navy Pharmacy Division, and the Public Health Service. So snakes as healing energy are all around us. We don't notice. We stop seeing them on the door to a hospital, on the door to a doctor's office, on the side of an ambulance that goes by. Snakes have gotten a very bad reputation through the years, and we need to let that go. Snakes were seen as healing energy long before they were demonized. And it was just such a brief moment in history, right? So let's look at snakes in some other cultures. In the Native American cultures, snakes are also seen as healing energy, rebirth, renewal. Pain. Snakes in some Native American cultures are said to help people confront, reduce pain, and learn to dissolve it. Snakes, of course, are also seen as renewal, because of the shedding of the skin. Healing in the Obijwa, I can't say it. Sorry, my brain's not doing it. In some Native American cultures, the snakes not only symbolize healing, but also fertility. They are thought to protect sacred knowledge. Again, it comes back in the Native American that they're told that the snakes will protect sacred knowledge and also protect sacred places. And that the snake medicine or the snake spirit is an essence that offers guidance and support to people going through difficult times. So please, let's take on that energy of the snake as something, an energy, an archetype that we can lean into that will help us to navigate through difficult times. So the gods don't, own the snake energy. There are also goddesses that are associated with snakes. In the Minoan religion, the snake was the protector of the house. In Greek mythology, Medusa is one of the most famous figures associated with snakes, and she is both feared and revered. Now, if you do some real reading about Medusa, you'll see that she got a bad reputation, right? There are other stories about Medusa that hold her in a much different light. And she is so powerful that even after her head was cut off, Medusa on a shield continued to be a fearsome, fearsome symbol that would literally petrify in fear, petrify anyone who looked upon it. So I'm also going to have you think about the possibility that Medusa, right, that ability to, with a look, stop the action, with a look, with the power of the female snake energy, that a war can be stopped, an incident can be stopped, an atrocity can be stopped. Let's think about using, as women, those of us who are women listening, or men who align themselves with female energy, let's think about how we can use that energy of Medusa that evokes our inner strength, that we can stop the negative from happening by our sheer presence, because it is possible. And I think partially that's what we're being called upon to do, is to hold the space, to hold the energy for hope, for renewal, for rebirth, to see what needs to be done, to let go, to take out, to reject the old that does not work, and to be very active, not the way we've been in the past, in the background, complaining about what we don't like, talking about the people that we hate. That has to stop. We have to engage at the level of compassion and conscious change in order to overcome the things that are in our way as human beings living together as a community on this planet. All right. In the Norse history, there is the snake lady. She is called the Lady of Beasts. She is believed to be the goddess of fertility, of beauty, and of love, and she is also often associated with magic. In Egypt, Wadjet is the ancient Egyptian goddess and protector of kings. She is the cobra goddess, and her name translates into the green one. She, in some versions, is depicted as the way you might see the green man, but she's a woman, so the green woman, the green one, with her brilliant energy of protection and rejuvenation. In the Hindu world, there is Manasa, the goddess of snakes, or the serpent goddess. She's regarded as one of the most powerful and revered of deities. She is an enduring goddess, and she's worshipped mainly for protection against peril. In the Greek, there is, of course, Hecate, and she is the goddess of the underworld and represents the transformative power of life, death, and rebirth. Okay, so there's plenty to think about, plenty of things to take with you and ponder. You might think about getting a picture of a snake or a little statue of a snake and see what that brings to the party, see what that brings up for you. How can you lean into this conversation in a way that you use the idea that this is the year of the snake to bring you to a place of greater balance, to bring you to a place where you are in a different kind of emotional space, rather than shutting down against that which is difficult and painful, to a place where you can slither out of it and do something new, regenerate yourself, recharge the world around you, be the light keeper, okay? So from time immemorial, people have regarded snake as the guardian of the sacred and the path of communication between the worlds. So that's what I want to leave with you at the end of our little talk today, that snake as a guardian of the space between the worlds. So let yourself, please, begin a little conversation with yourself about how you can embrace the energy of snake magic, snake power, snake for healing in your life. What aspect of the snake medicine resonates with you? What calls to you? What can you embrace that will give you a lift in your life? We'll continue this conversation in some different forms. Not always only about the snake, but I just wanted to lay the foundation for the conversation so that you have an opportunity to play with these ideas. If you have any thoughts or questions, you know where to find me. Please do find me. I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. Tomorrow I will post a meditation based on snake healing. So I hope you have a marvelous year coming up. Hold the light with me. I'm here, and your thoughts are always welcome. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for walking between the worlds with me. This is Raven Dana, and I'll see you next time.